It is Friday, December 27th. I'm Geoff Schwartz. That is Matt Ford. The Geoff Schwartz is Smarter Than You, where we try to give you football winners on a Friday, Matt. We try. That's our attempt. Not the best so far this year, but glad to have you along. Hope you had a Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays. We're in the middle of Hanukkah right now, and we're in the middle of watching a bowl game, and I have a wager on it, Matt, believe it or not. So I might be making some noises as we ooh and ah through the Oklahoma Navy Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl during the taping of this show. But as
Ooh,
usual on a Friday, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the slate of NFL games. We already had three this week. We will touch a little bit on those. We have more this weekend. We'll try to pick out five winners for you guys, and we can't be any worse. So, Matt, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. That's quite a tee up. Oklahoma Navy is a bowl game. Interesting.
Yeah,
That's an unlikely set of
Oklahoma.
opponents.
I have Oklahoma money line, and they're up 14-0. Then they're up 14-7 at halftime, despite outgaining Navy by a double and having double as many first downs. And now it's 14-14. So
Yeah.
things are going great right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how the kind of year it's been for
that,
us.
that's how it goes. So in the NFL this season, this tweet from Todd Furman entering Thursday's games, or excuse me, Wednesday's games, Thanksgiving games. Since week five, Matt, favorites were winning over 75% of games straight up and 56% against the spread. That is the highest and best number since 2005. Well, guess what? 2005 is as far back as Bet Labs goes. So
Yep.
it could be for the entire NFL history that this is the largest, the best favorites have won. And we are an underdog podcast. We pick underdogs. That's what we do for the most part. There are some favorites I do like this week.
Me too.
Might go back to well with one or two of these, unfortunately. But we're going to see in the lines this week that they have an inflation built in this week for favorites. There are some absurd numbers this weekend, Matt, for some of these favorites. So we'll go over the games, but first we want to talk about Pine Sports, pine-sports.com, promo code Geoff. We talked about it last week. Hopefully I can just put in the AI system today, like give me a winner because I can't win any NFL sides, but it's a great AI tool. It's a great opportunity for you guys to go research any props. Sorry, it's pine-sports/subscribe, promo code Geoff. And you want to go check out any way to look at a game, any props, any sides, any totals. They have a great AI tool. They have a great research tool, and it's gambling focused. We talked about it last week. We put one in for Mike Tomlin. It didn't work. They didn't cover against the Ravens. I had them not covering against Kansas City anyway, so that was fine with me. But a great way to just explore different ways to wager. Matt, I know you've liked it a lot. I've used it a lot. It's a ton of fun.
It is. And as you were talking, I typed in what are your favorite in their Jackson tool at Pine-Sports. What are your favorite against the spread bets this week? And they coincidentally or not spit out five. And one or two of them, I think I'm actually on the opposite side of a few of them, which is probably bad news for me. So,
Jeez.
so we'll see. But yeah, we're big fans, and if you sign up, I think you get half off for a month. So we're big fans of
Yes.
Pine Sports, and thanks for yeah,
Yeah.
use code Jeff spelled with the GE.
And
Uh,
we talked about this too. Like you can go identify player props that they project, right? Well, one of them, okay, so I like one of the two. I did the same thing. They spit out four. They spit
I
out four
mean,
for me. How many did
all
you
right,
get? Oh
I got
no, I got seven.
I got five, but we probably asked different questions. But well, we'll be sure to
I wrote, what are
reference
your
them when
favorite
we hit
against the
them.
spread bets this week?
Yeah,
I got seven. I number one is my favorite, one of my favorites. I like number five, and that's about it. So, geez.
this is a gnarly week, and part of
Yeah,
the reason is we've already seen what three games this week. I
yeah,
will say today I woke up and I was like, wait, there's not NFL football today? Like what's going
I know.
on? And that's counterintuitive to what I said all week, where it was like, oh my God, there's Wednesday games, there's Thursday
Yeah.
games, there's Saturday games, but today I was like, oh, I actually miss it. So uh I don't know. I guess this is working
Yeah.
on me at least.
Um,
Do you want to quickly talk about the three games
yeah.
we've seen so far this week? Maybe we can go in order and start with the Wednesday games. The first game was Kansas City, who we would have 100% bet on against the
Yes.
Steelers, who seem like a dead team. You want to just sort of unload on
Yeah.
Kansas City here? What an
What
impressive win and season so far.
We would have been 1-0. I text you that immediately
Yeah,
after the game. I bet on them personally.
me too.
It was one of my best bets on VSiN this week. I love the Chiefs in this spot because they wanted to win to have the one seed. You saw after the game how excited they were to win that game because now they're off for 24 days. I know people are saying they're going to get rusty. They're not going to get rusty. These
No.
guys have played 11 straight weeks, Matt. Joe Tooney needs a break. Chris Jones, obviously, with the calf injury, needs a break. Pat needs a break. Kelsey needs a break. The coaching staff needs a break. It's been a long grind. Look, at certain times this year, I think I've been too negative on Kansas City, but I try to look at it through the lens of the high standard of repeating. Um, and dude, they're playing some good football right now, man. Their two best games. I know DVOA, I think, had the Niners game up there and one other game as far as their best of the season, but dude, they're playing some really good football right now. And what's impressive is to see the emergence of Xavier Worthy now and what it's done to the offense and Brown adding him back in the line. The offense has that big play potential back, and it's important because they didn't have that last year. The defense is not as good this season. It's good enough. I mean, number one in the league in scoring. It's good enough. But now the offense adds some explosive plays back into it. And dude, they're going to get the winner most likely of Houston and Pittsburgh in the divisional round. And they're going to get the winner of Buffalo and Baltimore in the chance. Like they're going back to Super Bowl probably again for the fifth time. I think it's like 7 seasons now. So it's pretty remarkable to see sort of. Look, I know our buddy Nick Wright said that they've been practicing all season, and it's such a foreign concept to the NFL because that's not the way it's supposed to work. And I think last year we thought the Chiefs were doing that, but they did kind of look kind of crappy entering the playoffs. Right? Like it wasn't their best they had looked. They look good right now. Like to basically just sit out for 13 weeks and decide at the end of the season to start playing better is crazy to me. I wish I bet more on Kansas City though against Pittsburgh. I knew they were going to boat race Pittsburgh, Matt. We all did, and they did. And so Pittsburgh they finished 2 games short of what I thought they would be. I thought they'd be under 8 wins, Matt. They might get to 11, but the Tomlin thing, man, it's so funny how people turn on them so fast, but they played this better teams. The Eagles and Ravens and Chiefs 0 for 3 and got outscored by 50 points.
Yeah. All the memes this last week were like the Steelers. It was just various forms of like Steelers either start hot or end hot, but no matter what, they're the 5 seed and crash out in the first round of the playoffs. And yeah, I don't know. The Chiefs thing, I kind of want to spend another minute there. Why? I have a take, Geoff. I think Patrick Mahomes should win the MVP award. And I know that, a lot of everybody says it's going to be Josh, and then it's like, well, if it's not Josh, it's Lamar. We remember in the pandemic when we watched that Jordan documentary of how hard it is to go for a three-peat, for how much of a grind it is where you have to like show up, in Utah in April to win a game in, the April's not right, but in, March,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. And, you're the hunted team and everyone wants to beat you and everyone doubts you that you can do it again. Like Mahomes hasn't had his best statistical season. He hasn't had the highlight throws that he had when Tyreek was there, or, insert better, more explosive offense time. But the fact that he came back from that ankle injury, won both games in the span of 11 days, and like this, everybody says like Josh Allen doesn't have all the weapons. Like neither has Mahomes. Like they lost Pacheco,
Yeah.
they lost, Hollywood Brown, they lost Rasheed Rice, like Kelsey's lost a step. Like they clearly are this team that just, I don't know, like they have this leader that's able to get them over the finish line every week. And I feel like he's getting no credit for it. Like he's clearly the guy you'd want to have over everybody else in the league. So why isn't he a legitimate contender for the MVP award?
Good question, Matt. I think people look at the Chiefs as a collective, and it certainly was that case. And to be fair, look, they weren't great on offense for half of the season. I mean, great's a relative term, right? They have a lot of, expectation, and so I think people want to give it to Josh Allen. The Lamar thing is kind of interesting, Matt, because a three-time MVP puts you in a whole different category for MVPs. And I just don't know if the voters, and this is, look, the MVP award is for the regular season. It's not for the postseason. It's not for legacy, right? It's for the regular season. I think that voters are humans. They're going to look at Lamar Jackson's playoff success and lack thereof and say, we're giving a guy a third MVP, hasn't played a Super Bowl yet. I think that matters a lot for voters. So I think it's going to be Josh Allen. But your point is right. I mean, Mahomes is the best quarterback. If there was a best player in the NFL award, you give it to Mahomes. If there's an MVP award, maybe someone else
No
gets it, right? Like
question.
those are two
But
different
what's the
awards. So
difference?
yeah.
Like I don't
Well,
understand.
I
And
mean,
I
yeah,
think that Mahomes, I think that the Chiefs are making it look easy slash like harder than it needs to be. And so people are sort of like, whatever. It's like they're gonna win every week. It's like that doesn't just happen. Like
correct.
this is not normal.
Yeah,
And the fact I think especially that he came back and you know, just like the Steelers are still the Steelers. Like it's still the Steelers defense. They still had to go in the short week
yeah,
on the road and win this game. And it was like there's never a single doubt at any point that they're going to win games. And I think, it's like, would you rather have Andy Reid or Kevin O'Connell? Like Kevin O'Connell's going to win the Coach of the Year award. It should be Reid. Like the fact
yeah,
that they're doing this
yeah,
3 years in a row, you know, it's just insane. Like I just don't think that they're getting any credit for it, and if anything, they're
yeah.
getting dinged for how consistent they are.
They've lost once in a calendar year.
Yeah, and if Josh Allen wins the MVP award, the case will be, well, he beat Kansas City, and he beat Detroit, and it's like, okay, cool. Well, Kansas City beat 15 teams this year. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I had that revelation today, and I wanted maybe I'll be the
Are you
first to say it. I don't think Nick Wright will be
I
far
would say,
behind.
you gonna send this to Nick? You're gonna clip it for him later so
Yeah,
he can
maybe
he
he
can
should he'll probably agree with me.
of
Um,
course, of course. I mean, he's been right all along, man. I just again the practice thing. I just can't get my head around that sometimes. By the Chiefs, it does look like they're just sort of in practice mode,
it's a
which is
nice take.
which is
Um,
wild.
let's quickly talk. I want to talk about Houston a little. So they got absolutely washed by the
Yeah.
Ravens. So where are you on CJ Stroud? Because I feel like this is one of these things like they're going to win the division and then they're going to go and play probably Pittsburgh in the playoffs, probably lose. And I just don't know, like what a huge regression from Stroud and that whole offense, despite Collins and Mixon, they've been incredible. So, and a weak division. I don't really know what's going on there.
Well, I mean, the regression has been pretty thorough, right, Matt? I mean, it's pretty surprising. He's missing open guys, and yes, they have issues at wide receiver with injuries, and they have offensive line problems, but it seems to go a little bit further than that. And look, sophomore slumps are certainly a thing, and they happen, but that does feel very, very severe, right? The sophomore slump. I didn't even to the point where people were like, "Well, is 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 Bryce Young better for the future?" I think it's a little bit much. Um, but it's been severe. It's been quite shocking. I'm not going to lie, man. Like they're the AFC South champion, but we think they have no chance to advance past the divisional round, right? They're going to Kansas City and get smoked. Um, so look, I don't study quarterbacks like other people do, Matt, but it is rather surprising to see they haven't been able to put it together all this season.
His stats and Caleb Williams' stats are almost identical, except Caleb. So Stroud has 229 yards a game, 19 touchdowns, 12 picks, 408 sack yards, which is crazy. Caleb 218 yards a game, same amount of touchdowns, 19, but only 5 picks and comparable sack yards. So they've had the same season, but I feel like Caleb, everyone's so disappointed in him, and Stroud, everyone's like, he's still Stroud, he's fine. But that's very concerning. Maybe a little bit of uh, skepticism about that offensive coordinator in Houston, who everyone likes for a future head
Yeah,
coaching
he was going
job.
to be
But
like the next hot coach, wasn't he?
yeah, it was like I think he had interviews last year.
Slowick, yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of Caleb, the Bears had just another brutal night last night. Obviously, like their coach is sort of figuring out how football works. God bless him. But not to make this all about the quarterbacks again, but like I'm starting to get a little worried about Caleb long term because of the way that this season is unfolded. Like, I don't know how well you wear just a 10 game losing streak, or 9 game losing streak, whatever it is. It kind of reminds me of what they're doing, what Chicago feels like is like kind of what happened in Philly in basketball when they were just intentionally losing all the time. And it kind of felt like that got a little bit contagious in that locker room. And now, like, you see what happened with Embiid's career. Like, I just think that this amount of losing with that much expectations is going to put a dent in Caleb long term. It's not totally his fault. I think
Yeah.
he's done a decent job. But like, I have some real worries just like watching the way he plays. Like, he looks miserable, man.
So two things. One is that the coaching is so bad. I think we give him a tiny bit of a pass. Like I just want to see him with better coaching, which we do with we've seen other quarterbacks makes a big difference. The miserable thing is interesting, Matt, because um, he's our first Gen Z quarterback. right? And I think Gen Z individuals, they show their emotions a little bit differently than me and you and other generations. And they don't have a problem. Like they grew up in the internet era, Matt. Like they grew up in this era of like just sharing all your feelings on the all the time. And I feel like Caleb Williams is that on the field.
Huh.
And he did it at USC, he's done it in Chicago. And I think we're going to see more players like this now that this generation's being drafted. But I think this is just how he grew up in a different culture than we did, Matt. Like when I was playing football, you would never show any emotion. You like only excitement. That was it. Hold it in. Hold all the emotions in. It looks like he's just sharing the emotions he would share doing other things, but he's just doing it on a football field. And so, is it leading to unproductive play? I don't think so, but it looks bad for a lot of us that aren't used to seeing it on the football field. How do you like my Gen Z take? I think it's a good take about.
That's a really good take.
He's the
That's a
first Gen Z
really
quarterback.
Yeah. Well, is he? Because like I just look, he's
Yeah,
23. He just turned 23. Um, but it's like, Jaden Daniels is almost exactly a year older. And like the way that
Virginia has
Daniels
played
carries
5 years in
himself,
college, though. He went to
right,
college. He
but
played 5 years in college.
the way that the two of them, I mean, obviously I'm like laser focused on Daniels, but when you just watch the way that he carries himself, like at the end of the game, the end of that Eagles game last week, like you knew he was going to score. You just did. Like he
Yeah.
just carried himself like that. And like with Caleb, it's like on 4th and 5, even though he made that incredible
Yeah.
play, like it looks like he has no belief it's going to happen. And that's just look, that's us watching. We don't know, but it just
Well,
something feels off
yeah.
there. And I don't know. I wanted to talk about it.
We'll see if Ben Johnson can fix it.
Yeah, we
Or
will.
Pete Carroll. Who knows? I
Yeah,
don't,
I
I don't
love
think it's
that.
Pete Carroll. I don't think it's Pete Carroll. That would be
Mike
incredible content.
Mike Florio had some nice thoughts on that one. I don't know if you caught that
I
back and
can't stand
forth.
Mike Florio. Guy,
That was really funny.
he's
I
gonna
actually think
immediately
he's right for the record on this
he's gonna
one.
immediately just the agent was pushing this probably. He
100%.
he's just this is gonna happen though. He's just gonna um tweet out that Andy Reid's gonna retire Florio like he does every offseason, like 4 times in a row to make up for this. Um, all right, Matt. I think I have us down at 35, 43, and 2.
Oh,
I think that's where
probably
we're
our
at.
worst year.
Oh,
Definitely our
by
worst
far.
year. Yeah.
Look, we're transparent. We share our records. We don't pass post. We don't just make up numbers. Like this is what we have when time we're recording. It's what we play. We have 3 Saturday games and the rest of the Sunday games. Let's get to it. In effort, it's a holiday season. We probably won't spend a ton of time on some of these games, Matt. But I do like some. I don't know if we'll get to 5 somehow. So let's start this off.
Yeah. Well, my question, Jeff, like how much we gotta there's some stinkers, and I think we're gonna have to take one or two of these just
Oh,
off the
I, I,
list.
I like one, and you're not going to like it, but you might have to deal with it. But go
I
ahead.
think we might have the same one circled. All right, so let's start with tomorrow's game, Saturday. So much football. Chargers at Patriots. Patriots are getting 4.5 at home. This feels like such a trap game to me, but I
Oh,
refuse to back the Pats.
I like the Chargers here actually. Um, actually,
Why?
well, I'm not it's one of my 5. The Chargers to me are built to play in these games where you think like the weather matters, and we're going to be a thing throughout the show. It's actually warm in the Northeast this weekend, and it's raining. So like the idea of like cold weather games, it doesn't apply this weekend. Um, well, I think the Chargers like this game feels 20-10 Chargers. You know what I mean? Like Drake May and New England had sort of their Super Bowl last weekend. They played close against Buffalo, and that was. I mean, they screwed us obviously in that Buffalo wager, but a Charger nothing for me. But I think the nothing is the right play here.
Yeah, this Chargers team is so sketchy to me. Like every week, I never feel like I know what team is going to show up. They've kind of been limping into the last couple weeks. Uh, yeah, this is just a hard pass for me. Um, yeah, so okay, let's skip that one. We don't need to spend more time there. Broncos Bengals is the
Oh,
next game.
jeez.
That's at 4:30 Eastern. Seeing a 3 out there for Cincy. Three and a 3 to 3.5 is the line there with the Bengals. Do you like a side here?
I mean, probably Bengals, but I don't feel great about it.
Uh,
The
I will
defense
say
has been better.
our friends at Pine Sports and Jackson, the AI tool, like Denver here. The Bengals 0-7 against teams with winning records this season is what they
Yeah.
note. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think I would probably be on Cincy's side here, but Cincy is flying a little high, and uh, Denver does have a defense that should be able to travel and handle this. I don't know. I don't really have faith in either of these teams, do you?
No, no.
Okay.
That's why I just didn't do it.
Okay. The night game is a big one for the Rams playoff hopes. They're laying 6.5 to the Cardinals. If the Rams win, then they lock up the division, right?
No,
I think so, right? Or no?
no,
Do they
no,
have to they have to
because
beat Seattle next
they
week?
got beat Seattle next week.
Right, right, because they both have 9. Yep.
Yeah, dude. No, no, the Rams will have 10 wins. They'll be one up on Seattle. They win. Seattle played last night, but they still have to win. I think beat them in week 18, so they don't tie,
Right.
essentially. And they play each other week 18 anyways. So
Right.
I think this number is way too big, Matt, for this
Yeah, I
game.
do too.
But I want to make this point that I made a little bit on other shows I've done. It's important. We talk about spoiler teams, right? This time of year, a team that's going to spoil someone. Um, those teams are not the Cardinals. They're not the 49ers. They're young, up and coming teams like the Panthers, and we'll get to that game later. They're like young, hungry, up and coming teams. Like the Cardinals thought they'd be a playoff team this season. Like they thought they were going to do more, and they didn't. And they're out of the playoffs. They're eliminated. They're not really a spoiler team. And the Rams got their ass beat by Arizona early in the season. The number, though, feels way too high. And we're going to see throughout this show, we're going to talk about this, there is definitely a favorites inflation this weekend. Because the books are tired of getting hammered by these favorites. But I don't trust Arizona, Matt, to cover this number. So I think we stay away from this game unless you love Arizona here.
No.
To me, there's no play in this one.
Yeah, I don't love Arizona. I do. I agree. It's just it's too inflated, but the Rams are the right side. I looked into this a little. Um, so if the Rams win, they technically could clinch based on strength of schedule because they would get to 10, and the Seahawks, but I think then I don't think the week's 18 game could matter if like 3 different teams win based on strength of
Okay.
schedule. It's too complicated, but just a strange scenario. But I do think the Rams will win. And the Cardinals do look like one of those teams that could just absolutely faceplant and quit.
Yeah. It,
Uh,
it, it does feel like this is a teaser leg.
yeah, oh yeah. There's a lot of good Caesar legs this week. Um, okay, moving on to the Sunday games. Ugly early slot on Sunday. Uh, to get some time back with their families would be my advice. The Bills are laying 10 to the Jets, another huge number. Um,
Ah,
are you gonna make the Jets case here?
no,
I see the craziest look in your eyes.
no. I
Okay.
like Buffalo again, like I did last week, Matt.
Huh.
Um, Same thing, right? Like the Jets are dead. Buffalo played terrible against New England. Buffalo's playing for a 2 seed, right? They win this game, they lock up the 2 seed, I believe. This is like a kitchen sink game, right? It's like all full speed. And the Jets, like, guess what? The Sharps on the Jets again. Like, what a surprise.
Right.
Um, I would certainly be on Buffalo here again. I have no problem going back to it here. I think Buffalo is just much better, and I don't know what the Jets are playing for. The Jets are been bad, man. They're bad.
Yeah. This also could be the Josh Allen's like statement
Correct.
monster home win. I'm open to this. I don't love it, obviously, but I'm open to it. We're not looking at a ton of games left, so let's write it down at least. Um, yeah, I mean Buffalo does they could I think clinch the 2 seed with a win. Um,
Yes, they
so
do.
like that, in a home game, and then next week they go away to New England. So I think this could be just sort of a statement week for them. So open to this one. Um, Okay, next game, I think unfortunately we have to discuss. It is the Saints catching a 1.5 at home to the Raiders. I'm sorry. Why are the Raiders road
Yeah,
favorites to anyone?
yeah. Well, again, this is one of those where, previous years, Matt, this one just cashes, like you take the ugly side and you know it's right and you get home with it. And this year, these are not cashing. I'm not saying we go away from it, but you're absolutely right. Why are the Raiders a favorite on the road? What have they done to be a favorite? This line has moved 4.5 points off the opener. That seems insane
It's
to me.
insane, dude. It's because they got shut out last week, and teams after getting shut out are 30, 15, and 3 against the spread,
Yeah.
which is two-thirds of the time they cover in the last decade. 30 or worse, they're 58% since 1990. I just don't think that the Saints are just gonna be that dead, and that the Raiders have figured out some way to go
Yeah.
and travel and win on the road. I
I
kind of just
agree.
feel like we have to take this one.
Uh, yeah, I'm with you. I think New Orleans is just only one you have to take, and look. I mean, geez,
We don't have to watch it.
it's not the ugliest game I like, unfortunately.
Oh man, okay. I think then we have the same. Uh-oh, maybe it's this one. All right, we're saying the Saints are in the mix at +1.5 at home against Raiders. Insane. All right, this might be it. The Giants are catching
Yes.
7.5 to the
Th-
Colts.
This is an absolutely
It's a
ridiculous number,
batshit
Matt.
line. It makes
It's
no
it's
sense.
it's unbelievably insane. Um, do you know how many passes the Colts quarterback completes? His passing percentage? Do you know like his completion percentage, Matt?
It's under 50, isn't it?
47%.
Oh,
And he is
oh,
a 7.5 point favorite on the road. I know
man.
the Giants suck. Don't get me wrong. They're terrible. This number is asinine. It is absolutely insane, Matt. I don't care if we lose this game. We have to play the Giants +7.5. There's
We
no
do.
other. I cannot let the Colts get away with this. So give me Giants +7.5. It's my best bet on Bear Bets. I have nothing to say. All I said was this. Why is this number 7.5? I don't know. It's a tax. It's a favorites tax, right? Like the Giants got smoked last weekend. Everyone's going to bet the Colts this weekend. So how do you not have everyone bet the Colts? You put them in -7.5. This number was high. It was like 9, Matt, earlier
It
this
was.
week.
I know. I'm trying to see actually if we can find an 8 anywhere because it was sitting when we were texting about the games this week. They were sitting at 8, eight
You
and a
told me
half.
no on this one, by the way.
Yeah, I changed my mind. And the fact that it keeps nudging in our direction is a good sign. It's also, I know the weather's like not that bad, but it's like an outdoor team coming east. It's a game where the Colts have to win. It seems like every year these teams that are in this spot always drop these games. The Giants have
Yeah,
nothing to play for,
correct.
but
And
they're
also
going to
too,
win.
the Colts have won 7 games this year. They've won two by 1 point, like two by 2 points, a 3 point, a 4 point, and a 7 point win,
Mm.
8 point win.
You can get the Giants for +340 on the money line, and I really do not hate that. I think that's a pretty nice play.
Oh,
But
this number is crazy. God,
yeah,
we Saints and Giants so far. Yeah, yeah, yikes.
I'm putting +340 in somewhere. All right, maybe a time saver because I don't think we can stomach this one. The Panthers are going to Tampa. The Bucks are laying
Yeah,
8 or 8.5.
it's
Again, this
another.
is too high.
This is too high. It's one of those. It's again. It's a favorite inflation, right, for this weekend. But Carolina is down a bunch of players. Like J.C. Horn's not playing. A bunch of linebackers are out. This does feel like a pretty kind of Panthers won last week and feeling good about themselves. Bucks off a bad loss. It does feel like the Bucks probably wouldn't cover, and it's a great teaser leg. Bring it down to
Really good
2, and
Caesar leg.
yeah,
You were talking. I was looking at some stats this morning. You were talking about Anthony Richardson's completion percentage. This season, Baker Mayfield is completing 71% of his passes.
yeah,
Isn't that crazy?
he's played well.
He's
Yeah,
been really good. He's been 34 touchdowns, 15
yeah,
picks. Had a great year. Um, okay, so we're gonna pass on that one. Love
yeah.
it for the teaser. Uh, Two more games left in the early window. Titans, Jags. This is essentially a pick. Jags are laying a point. We cannot take the Titans, man. I will never. I will
No,
refuse to even consider taking either side in
I,
this.
no, there's no chance. Let's
Okay, great.
let's let people. It's the holiday season.
Our
Let's get.
gift to you is to not discuss
Yeah.
this one. You want to discuss the Cowboys and the Eagles.
Ugh,
The this one's come down. This one was
yeah.
9.5. It's now at the Eagles 7.5.
Hurts is not playing probably.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So with the Eagles losing last weekend, this game is essentially meaningless. Like I don't think they can have the 1 seed, Matt. They can, I guess, if the Vikings and Lions both lose this weekend, and then even then, like, are they guaranteed to have the 1 seed if with 3 like they're basically out of the 1 seed, Matt. They're basically locked in a 3 seed. I think this is the way it's going to work out. And so, why risk playing Jalen Hurts or rushing anyone back when you're locked in and you have the Giants next week? All you have to do is win one of the next 2 games to win the division. That's all you
Yeah.
got to do. And you have the Giants this weekend, I believe, at home. even on the road, like there's no difference
Yeah, who
in that
cares?
game. So I think the Eagles, I don't know how much they quote care about this one, but you can't bet the Cowboys plus 7.5 here. That'd be crazy.
The Cowboys have been playing pretty good ball.
Yeah,
Like,
I just don't trust them at
no
all.
CD Lamb in this one though. It takes a huge the only thing that's going well for them on offense off the
Correct.
field. So yeah, I think this is just a stay away and keep off the
We have,
TV
we
even.
have like no games to pick. Jesus Christ.
There's still I think a few we like.
There's one I
Um,
like. There's one I love.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll get there. We're moving to the late window now. There's only two games at 4 o'clock. The 4:05 kick is Miami at Cleveland.
Uh,
Cleveland catching 6.5. Is Miami dead yet? Are they officially done or not? They're
no,
not,
they're
right?
not. And they beat the Niners last weekend. That was so we did our teaser, big teaser last weekend, Matt. The last leg, we were 5 of 6 was Niners plus 7, and Mostert scored instead of just falling down ending the game.
Yeah, HN.
Uh,
Yep.
HN. I'm sorry, HN. So this is not actually a cold weather game. It's supposed to be 55 degrees in Cleveland on Sunday. This is one of those we eyed like Dolphins under, when it's cold, um, don't play well, but I gotta think it's Browns or bust, right? I mean, this is a big number again.
Yeah. We can't play it though. This quarterback for Cleveland's is probably the worst quarterback. Him and Jake Kane are fighting for the
Yeah,
worst quarterback I've watched this year award.
yeah.
We can't back that guy. But it's like this isn't even a fun teaser because it's like I guess you want to tease this down for the Dolphins, but like why? Like, do we
No,
really believe in them?
this is not a teaser leg
Yeah, this
at
is just
all.
a stay away. All right, we've got three fun games left. The late game in the afternoon is the Packers and the Vikings. The Vikings in the mix for the 1 seed.
Yeah.
If they win this game, then they're firmly in the mix. The Packers just playing for seeding, but the Vikings are short home favorites, -1.5. Uh, I, it feels a little disrespectful to Minnesota for me.
Okay, so a lot of people feel the same way, man. I want to hear this. I'd be okay taking the Packers, but let's hear the Vikings. Their favorite 1.5 now. It has flipped. So they were getting a point or two, and now it's flipped. Let's hear the Oklahoma the Vikings the Vikings receiver
You're
here.
watching Oklahoma,
Sorry, yeah,
huh?
this is
The
bad.
the Vikings have won 8 straight. They're I mean, I don't feel like the market is like too high on Minnesota. If anything, I think they're kind of high on the Packers who have had these like these high flying offensive games, 5 straight where they've scored 30 plus, no picks. The Packers have been like a sneaky lucky team to me this year, I think. They've had great turnover luck, especially on the defensive side. Uh, they're a sort of streaky team. And Minnesota is just consistent. Like every single week, they do the same thing. They can score through the air. They have an underrated ground game. They create pressure on the
Yeah,
quarterback. Their fans are going to be absolutely crazy in this last game here. And I just think this is their chance to make a statement. And I think
yeah.
they're the better team. So I think catching a point and a half, like that's just
No, they're a favorite
not,
now.
but yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a short home favorite
Yeah, sort of,
situation.
yeah. So I
I
guess the
like them.
question. So here's one thing that I think is like an anti-Packer sort of idea that because I like the Packers, but I understand the Vikings take. I get it. The Packers have lost 4 games. It's Eagles, Vikings by 2, Lions twice. So they haven't won this game this season yet, Matt, which I think is a issue trying to back them this weekend. I'd be okay taking Minnesota as a short home favorite if you like it. We also just don't have many games left. You like this one, I think, right?
I think this is a very like this is a fine bet. You're right. We don't have any games left. I think I do like a side in the next two,
I
but
do as well.
I think this belongs in the mix. Like even though they haven't, the Packers, you're right, haven't lost to teams that aren't necessarily like way better than them. Like the Vikings, they win every week, and I don't know. I believe in them. I think that they can win a home game, and that's basically all we're asking them to do. I don't know. Let's put it in the mix.
Um,
I have a feeling they're going to get bumped for one of these next two.
no, we only have 3, buddy, right
No,
now.
we have Buffalo, we have the Saints, we have the Giants, and we
Oh
have the
the Saints.
Vikings.
Sorry, yes, you're with Buffalo. The Saints and Giants are in, so that's
Yeah,
those.
yeah,
Yeah,
we'll leave Buffalo in the mix.
all right.
Um, all right, 2 games left. Falcons at Commanders, Sunday Night Football. The Commanders are 4-point favorites. They clinched the playoffs with the win, I believe. Uh, I feels like it feels like a nice spot to pick Washington, right?
Yes, I like watching a lot of this game. Um, they are playing a rookie quarterback, making his first road start. And everyone's gonna look at that game last week and ooh, they won 34-7, I think it was. They had two defensive scores in Atlanta, and they were just okay offensively. The other side is people are gonna say, well, Washington had a big emotional win, they're gonna have a letdown. That's like a college thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a college thing. That FedEx Field gets very loud. Okay, I think people don't know that because it's never really full. This is going to be a raucous atmosphere. In the rain, I think it's supposed to rain this weekend, Matt, during the game. A night game, crazy atmosphere. Michael Penix's first road start. It's a freaking Falcons. Anytime we're wagering against the Falcons, I feel great about it. So I like Washington here minus the format. I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we haven't really picked Washington much this year,
No,
because I think it's been nervy for me taking them, but they've I don't know. I think that they're cleanly a better team here. Drake London's been banged up a bit. Marshawn Lattimore probably isn't going to play in this
not
one,
going to play.
so
Yeah,
we'll see. But you're right. Like Atlanta's defense played awesome at home against the Giants, who were a completely dead team, who
yeah.
of course we're betting on this week. Um, but yeah, I think this is a safe Washington play here. I think yeah, you're right. The crowd's going to show up. I think
Oh
this is
yeah,
smart.
yeah.
Um,
All right.
okay, so we've got them in the mix. Washington -4.
Next one is just we could just sharpie this next one in there.
Yeah, I think so. I lost my
This
page
number this
here.
number is actually quite surprising. I'm
This
I'm
is
not gonna lie.
this is the Monday night game.
Yeah.
The Lions are 3.5 point
Yeah.
favorites on the road in San Francisco.
Only 3.5?
What are we
Uh,
talking about here? Like, this is
Are we
an absolute lock for me. I'm so confused by this one.
so they've given favorites inflation this weekend. We just talked about Tampa Bay and the Colts. The Lions are like the best team in the NFL. What,
Yeah,
what are they doing here? And
yeah,
all they do is beat the bad football teams they play. And the Niners guys are not very good. They're terrible. This line makes no sense, Matt. Niners have nothing to play for. Do you remember I mentioned spoiler teams, right? They're young, they're hungry. The Niners are old and beat up and tired and broken down. There's no playoff chance. They're done. The Lions are playing for the number one seed. They're going to roll the 49ers. They lost to them in the same spot last year in the NFC Championship game. They're going to go and they're going to roll the Niners in this game.
yep. I completely agree that they've had this one circled all year. Purdy 1-8 against the spread. First teams above 500 this season. The 49ers have won 9 of their last 21 games. Like they're just not the team that everyone thinks
Correct.
they are. And Detroit, you're right. This is the one where if this was like 6, I would still consider it. So I think 3.5 would, and it's moved down. This is a
Don't get
lock.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we
So
have 4 we're sure about, it sounds like.
yeah, New Orleans, the Giants, Washington, Detroit. The question becomes,
Nice.
do we go with Minnesota or Buffalo in that spot? Buffalo obviously playing a Jets team, Minnesota playing the Packers.
What do you think,
Buffalo
man?
lane 10.
You didn't
I,
you
I,
sound
I, I like Josh Allen under rush attempts, like in that game. So maybe that's the way I play that game. And we just take Minnesota, who I agree with you is sort of better than the Packers, a little bit better. And they also play them at home. Like it feels like that number is on neutral field. Are we really making this game a pick, essentially? That feels a little bit too, the number feels a little off. It should be Minnesota -3.
yeah. Maybe Vegas is telling us something there. Um Maybe we should ask our friends at Pine Sports here. They like Buffalo. Uh
They like
to
Minnesota too.
Yeah, they do like Minnesota. Mainly because I think let's see, Buffalo 30 plus in 8 of their last 9 games. Jets 5-23 in division games since 2020. That's pretty funny. Um, I don't know. I agree. I think I'm more comfortable with Minnesota at home.
Yeah.
10 Vikings 10-4-1 against the spread in their last 15, 5-2 at home against the spread. Uh, yeah, I think this is a smart play.
So we have New Orleans, the Giants, Minnesota, Washington, Detroit. So we have three favorites this week.
That's probably a good thing.
Jeez, the way favorites are covering is probably good. What are New Year's plans? You got any New Year's plans? You know, have a rager
No,
with
yeah, we
Jack?
got some family in town. It's nice. You grew up in California. What was your approach for the New Year thing because I'm a lifelong East Coaster, moved out here. The ball drops at 9 o'clock, and then I'm kind of like, all right, I can go to bed now, right? Like,
Yes, I haven't stayed awake for a ball drop at in years. What we do at our house is we do our own, like we wrap a volleyball with foil and we just throw it down like from the second story of our house, and the kids like Happy New Year, and we're like, okay, time to go to bed.
6:45.
Yeah, we're like nighttime. Yeah, I mean, I don't. You got a young child, man. You're not staying up till midnight to watch a ball drop.
Of course not. Oh, ball drop. The ball drop where? There is a ball drop on the West Coast, right? Like,
No,
what are we doing?
it's always done in New York. Yeah.
Yeah. And we used to live in New York, so like, New York New Year's Eve, it's I don't know, it's
So
like the biggest amateur hour of drinking in the entire world. It's like everyone in the world goes to New York to get drunk, and it's this crazy night. And
so
those
I
days are over for me.
an old friend of ours, Mr. Dan Rovell,
Ah,
his office building in New York City, his new office, has a direct view of the ball drop. Like I could, if I ever want to go, I could just be like, "Yo, can I just watch a ball from your office?" He could probably sell tickets from his office for that ball drop. My wife has always wanted to do that. Just it's a very, very expensive, and I don't think it's worth the money to just um, watch a ball drop, Matt. I don't think it's worth it.
no,
So
no, it's not.
no, it's definitely not. Oklahoma here, by the way, down seven. They had a 4th and 17, but pass interference on Navy. Ball's at the 10 now, no timeouts. Um, and touchdown Oklahoma. Now, do they go for two? The answer is yes. It's a freaking bowl game.
All right,
Go
we
for
gotta
two.
we gotta stay on while this happens
Okay,
here.
Matt, yesterday was an absolutely asinine. I used that word twice today. I'm sorry. So Pittsburgh was playing their bowl game right against someone yesterday, Toledo, and the rule in the second overtime you have to go for two. All right, and then after that, the third or fourth, fifth overtime, like whatever, is only 2 point play from the 3 yard line. So it's 4th and 1. Pittsburgh's down by three. So Toledo already went, kicked the field goal. 4th and 1 at the one. Your options are go for it to win the game at the one, okay? Or kick a field goal, tie the game, go over from the three and get a stop from the three. So of course the answer is go for it from the one. Like win the game from the one. Nope. They kicked a field goal. Cowardly decision. Oklahoma's going for this. Good for Oklahoma. Good for
All right,
Oklahoma.
let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's I'm on YouTube TV, so it's like I hope it. I have a little bit of tiny sprinkle on Oklahoma money line.
Okay, give us
Uh,
the update. Give us the
let's
play-by-play
see.
here.
Well, it's a timeout. Um,
You
and
were
let's see here,
you and I were the only people in sports media not on the Netflix broadcast. So why don't we see if we could handle the next year's?
buddy. Um, the RG3 thing, do not get it, but I'm not in charge of the decision making process for that.
Love RG3.
Oh, did you podcast with him? Can I not say that?
No, no, I
Uh,
just he brought me some nice
well, so
memories.
I was on the Vikings team in 2012 with a 75-yard touchdown run
I
in
do.
at FedEx Field. That's the loudest. I think that's the loudest single moment I've ever heard in any stadium in the NFL.
My take for you, Jeff, is that outside of Stafford, Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in the NFC now. What do you think of that take? Uh,
Oh no! Throw the ball! He didn't throw the ball. You can't take a sack.
he took a sack on the 2 point.
Yes.
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Immediately check the balance. Uh-oh. I don't think I've ever watched you lose a bet live before. I mean, I've read your texts as they've happened, and we've lost together collectively.
Uh,
All right. I
small,
think that's
small,
our time. I think that might be the
small. It
signal.
was
It's
a
time for
small,
the show to end.
dude. It was half a unit, so it was like it was not, I didn't lose a lot of
Five
money.
dollars.
No, a little more than that now. But still, I don't like losing bets. Who wants to lose
No,
a wager?
no, of course not.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, hopefully we don't lose any wagers this weekend. We'll
No
talk to you
chance.
guys next week. Have a good New Year. Happy Hanukkah. Happy holidays. And oh, my tree's on the side of the road already. If you're curious, go to my Twitter. I'm
Nice.
sure
Oh,
it's
great. Nice.
that's fantastic. All right, guys. Have a good weekend. Peace.
See you next year.